Hello friends, my name is Me and you are watching this video that I upload every week on Instagram TV, YouTube and Facebook. And the class of today is going to be a yoga flow that I'm going to stretch myself with the world. And it's a long and gloomy day today and I feel kind of tired in my body, so I don't want to do things that are too powerful, arm balances and deep twists and such. Instead, I would really like to stretch out my tight muscles has been working through the week, and I enjoy you to do this class with me. You're going to need a yoga mat, probably 2 blocks, probably something to support your knees if your knees are sensitive and your mat is not thick enough, and of course a wall. Before we start, if you are watching this on Instagram TV, click the heart and click the save video so that you can practice later. If you're watching this on my Facebook, please share it so that other people can see too. And if you watch this on YouTube, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to upload 1 video per week, so make sure that you're going to follow me in one of these 3 or probably all 3 platforms. And now let's start the class. I hope you enjoy the class of today. Let's start the class at the front of your mat. Stand with your feet parallel to each other and about as wide as your hips. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale, lift your shoulders up so high that your arms cover your ears. And then bring your arms, your shoulders down. Let's interlace your fingers behind you and lift them up far away from your hips. Bring your chin down to your chest and start rolling your head from side to side so that you start stretching out the sides of your neck. Then you can make circles with your head too. Just do all the movements that make you feel good at your neck. Then you can even release your hands and focus on making very big circle with your head. Exaggerate the movement so that you can stretch the most out of your neck. And reverse the movement. Notice all the tight spots on your neck and move in a way that you stretch them out. Eventually become rounded and forward bend completely. Allow your arms to be heavy toward the floor. Inhale halfway up, arcing through your spine. You can bend your knees here. And exhale, become rounded into your back. Move like this for a few rounds. It's like cat and cow movements, but now that you are standing. The pose is to find flexibility into your spine. Warm up through your whole spine. Eventually, let's stand only on your left leg and bring your right leg up. Bend your right knee and start making circles with your right leg. Bring your knee up high, point it out. Bring it back in and low. And then reverse the circling movement. Try to move your hips as big as you can in this standing split position. And then step your right foot back a long step. Bring your right knee down to the floor for low lunge, Anjali Asana. Give yourself a back bend here. Bring your arms behind your ears. You can tuck your toes or you can keep your feet on the floor. But try to keep 5 of your toes on the ground. Slowly come back. Bring your hands down to the floor and start moving between Anjali Asana and half split for a few times. When you inhale, bring your hips forward, chest up. And exhale, move your hips back, face down. And then stay in half split. Walk your hands further away. Point your toes toward your head. And allow your head to be very low toward the floor. Stretching the hamstring of the left leg. Tuck your back toes and walk your hands toward the right side to Skandasana, the side lunge pose. You can stay here with your heel up, or you can try to put your left heel down. Focus on stretching the hamstring of your right leg and try to push your arm into your thigh. Then let's sit down to the floor and do Janu Sirsasana, side bending toward your right and stretch deeply into your left side. Maybe you can hold your hands into your toes, maybe you can't. It doesn't matter the shape, but it really matters how you feel the big stretch and twist into your spine. Take a few breaths here. Slowly get out of the pose and bring your left hand behind you as you press down into your 2 feet and lift your hips up high. It's kind of like a back bend. Hands back to the front of your mat and step your front foot back for down dog. Walk your heels on and off the floor into down dog and come closer toward the wall. Bring your right leg up and put your right foot on the wall to guide yourself into a deep down dog split. Try to lift your leg away from the wall, bend the knee, and bring your knee toward your face as you bring your right foot toward your right hand. Back knee down to the floor. Inhale, bring your arms over your ears. Anjani Asana. Stay for a few breaths with toes tucked or toes on the floor. You can make the pose bigger as you get used to the pose for more depth into the hip stretch. Bring your hands in front of your heart and inhale. As you exhale, let's twist toward the right side. Push your arms into your leg and your leg back to your arm. And then open your arm. One hand is pointing up. The upper arm, let's make circle so that you find the maximum movements that you can do on your shoulders. After 3 rounds, come back to the center, inhale. And exhale, hands down to the floor. Pick the back knee off the floor and strengthening the front leg into pyramid pose. And move, inhale, hips down. Exhale, hips up, face down. Move between these 2 poses for a few rounds. And every time you move, find more stretch into your legs and your hips. Stay for a few breaths in pyramid pose. And then let's bend your front knee. Bring your hands down to the floor and bring the whole front knee to pointing outside of your right hand. Sit the whole hips down toward the floor into pigeon pose. And then bring your arms down to the ground. Relax your head into this resting pigeon. And feel the deep stretch into your right glute. Slowly get out of the sleeping pigeon. Lift your whole leg up and point your knee toward your left hand as you sit down for Janu Sirsasana. Here, if you feel like your right knee is being lifted from the floor, you support a block underneath your right knee. And then side bend to the left. Keep your right arm over your ear as if your right hand wants to touch your toes. And you can support your left arm with a block, and you can support your head with your left hand so that you don't have to think about your head. Stay here. Think of how you want to reach your hand more and more toward the left side. And at the moving shoulders with your top arm, take it slow and move very big to open up your shoulders for about 3 rounds or more if you want to. And then reverse the movement. Take it slow and enjoy the stretch as you discover yourself in the movement. Now you can remove the block and put your right hand behind you. Press your right knee and your left heel on the floor. Inhale, big stretch into a back bend. And exhale, hands at the front of your mat. Step your foot forward. And then kick your other foot off the floor for standing split. And step your foot down to the floor. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward bend. And move continuously between these two poses. As you forward bend, stay here and interlace your fingers to hold your head down. Bring your elbows toward your knee. And if you can have your elbows touching your knees, let's walk your elbows up toward your thighs so that you have even deeper stretch into your upper back. Slowly become rounded and stand up. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale, bring your hands in front of you and then behind you to make a full circle and continue the circling for 3 rounds. As you finish 3 rounds, you can reverse the circling. Just take it slow or do it fast and move it in ways that open up your shoulder joints. Eventually, arms over your head as you inhale. And exhale, forward bend again. Let's continue with the wavy movement on your spine. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward bend. Then let's stand on your right leg and kick your left leg up toward the sky for standing split. Bend the left knee and start painting circles with your left knee too. Try to make the circle as big as you can. Reverse the circle, exaggerate the movement, and find all the direction that you can move. Then step your left foot back a long step and left knee down to the floor for Anjali Asana. Bring your feet apart from each other to make your pose long, and you can open your hips very much. Add the back bend into Anjali Asana. Keep your hips going down as your chest going up. And become really strong into your legs so that you can hold the pose. When you exhale, hands down to the floor. Keep only the front heel on the floor, point all the toes toward your face for half split. Inhale, chest up. And exhale, forward bend. Keep your belly sticking to your thighs and move between Anjali Asana as you inhale and half split as you exhale. However tight you feel into your body, I want you to feel like waves from the ocean. Just move with your breath. And it really doesn't matter how big you can do the pose or how beautiful you look. But it's the inside feeling that you are softening your muscles that matters. Let's stay in half split for a while to stretch out the hamstring of your right leg. And then slowly bring your front foot down to the floor. Bring your back knee up as you crawl your hands toward the left side and into Skandasana. It's fine if you are lifting your heel up and support your hands on the floor. Or you can bring your hands into a prayer sign and use your right arm to push out through your right knee. Focus on the stretch of your left hamstring. Now let's bring your right hand behind you and lift your whole body up as you inhale. It's like a big back bend. You can move your top arm for a few circles and then sit down to the floor. Keep opening your right knee out. You can use your left hand to hold into your right ankle and bring your right arm over your head, reaching toward your left toe. Maybe you are very far away from the toes, but again, it really doesn't matter how you look, but when you stretch the muscle on your side long enough, you'll be able to hold your own foot. Keep breathing and let the breath massage you. Slowly get out of here, lift your whole front leg up and step it back for downward facing dog. Walk your heels on and off the floor in down dog. And then walk your hands closer toward your feet. And bring your left leg up. Put your left leg on the wall. And try to make 5 toes of the left foot touching the wall at the same time. For a deep down dog split. It will stretch mostly into the hamstring of the standing leg. And then you can bend the left knee and step your left foot toward your left hand position. Right knee down to the floor, Anjani Asana again. Make it deeper than the previous time we did this pose. Bigger hip stretch. Every time you inhale and exhale, it's a chance to bring your hips down and forward. Then bring your hands in front of your heart as you inhale. And exhale, twist toward the left. Keep your legs exactly the same. Don't change your leg shape. And open your arms. Start moving with your top arm. Make big circles to discover the full range of movement that you have with your shoulder joint. Inhale, arms over your head again. And exhale, hands down to the floor. Lift the whole back knee up and straightening your front leg into pyramid pose. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward bend. And let's move continuously between Anjani Asana and half split for a few rounds. Just try to move as big as you can, as your body can do for today. And I'm very sure the next time you do this class again, you're going to move much bigger than today. Eventually, let's stay still in the pyramid pose for a few breaths. And feel how you're stretching out the hamstring of your left leg. Now let's bring your hands down to the floor, pick the whole front leg up and keep the front knee outside of your left hand. Try to sit as low as you can into pigeon pose and then bring your arms down toward the floor. Relax your head. Stay here and enjoy the stretch in all the layers of your glute on your left side. This is one of my most favorite poses. And if you feel tight in your hips and your lower back, you can do this every day. Let's slowly get out of pigeon. Lift the whole front leg up and this time point the knee to the opposite hand so that you can sit down into Janu Sirsasana. You can support the blocks underneath your knees if you feel tight in your hips, so that you can sit up straight with your back. And then let's side bend toward the right. You can support your head with your own right hand. Keep your right arm reaching toward the left side. And keep breathing deep into the right side. And now you can move your arms in circles. I like these arm circling. Really stretch out the muscles that I use a lot in my shoulders. Slowly get out of the pose, move the block out of your way. And keep your left hand behind you. Press down with your knee and your heel, hips up high for a big stretch as you inhale. And exhale, hands to the front of your mat again. Kick your right foot up to the sky for a standing split before you bring both feet down to the floor, halfway up as you inhale. And exhale, forward bend. You can stay in forward bend or you can just move continuously with your spinal waves. Or you can do the hands behind your head and try to cross your chin down toward your chest. As your elbows try to walk up higher toward your hip crease. Keep being rounded and slowly curl yourself to stand up. Inhale, let's bring your arms toward the left side and stretch your right side. And go through the back bend and bring your arms toward the right side to stretch the left. And you can continue moving. Just improvise and do poses that make you feel nice around your upper body. Inhale, arms over your head. And exhale, hands in front of your heart or arms to the side of your body. Stay here for a mountain pose and take a small break before we continue. Let's get ready and inhale, arms over your head. You can give yourself a big, nice back bend. And exhale, fold from your hips, forward bend. Halfway up as you inhale. Exhale, forward bend. Maybe a few more times. Maybe now you are more flexible on your spine. And step your right foot back a long step. Try to come closer toward the wall so that you can have your right heel pressing toward the wall. And go to Anjali Asana. Hold the blocks next to you and try to walk the blocks back toward your hips. And even behind your hips. Try to bring your hips as low as you can, and as much forward as you can toward the floor, so that you can have the best stretch out of here. Then let's lift your right hand up. You can keep only your right hand reaching behind you, or if you feel stable, your left hand can join too, and probably they can both touch the wall behind you. Look slightly up, don't let go of your head because it's scary. And stay here for a few breaths. It's a very deep stretch, so if you don't think this is for you, you can just go back and keep holding your hands at the block. To get out, right hand out first and then left hand out. Walk the blocks toward the front foot and raise your back knee off the floor, straightening your front leg into pyramid pose. As you exhale, stick your whole belly down toward your thighs. Inhale halfway up and move again a few times between these spinal movements. Then stay in pyramid pose for a few breaths. Now you can lower the block on your right side so that you can put your right elbow on the block. Hold your right hand into your left ankle and point your left hand up toward the sky. Maybe you can lower the block to the lowest or to the middle side. But anyway, try to feel the strength you're having now to turn your whole chest toward the left side. Twisting triangle. And then bring your hand out of the pose. Bring your hands down to the floor. Walk the blocks back and bring that left leg up to the wall. Maybe you need to step away from the wall with your right leg. Try to bring your left leg as high as you can for a standing split with the wall. Hold the blocks firmly. Stay here. Enjoy the big deep stretch. And maybe bring your belly down low toward your thigh. It's quite intense everywhere, but relax your head and your face. Breathe deeply and feel how the hamstring of your right leg is being melted. It's a very tight muscles. And it's kind of painful to stretch it out. But you can always bend your standing knee so that you stretch the thick part of your hamstring. Inhale, let's slowly bring your body out of the pose. And see if you can slide your back knee down toward the floor, very close to the wall. Still have your left foot on the wall. Bring your front foot further and further away and hold the blocks next to your hips. Keep your hips really low. The key here is to make your hips so low that eventually your back leg will be touching the floor with the thigh bone and not with the kneecap. You can just stay here if this pose feels very uncomfortable to you, but it's a very good stretch into the quad and hip flexor. Or you can do more by bringing your right arm over your head and behind you to find the wall, and probably your left arm too. So these are optionals. You choose one of these options and always try to hug your elbows toward your head. That is very important for shoulder opening. Maybe you can walk your hands closer toward your foot. Maybe you can even touch your own foot. Always push your hips and your chest forward, down and up. And keep breathing deeply. To get out of here, one hand at a time, hold the block, slide the foot out of the wall, walk the block a bit forward, and stay in halfway up, in forward bend for a few breaths. You can support the blocks underneath your elbows and move your knees gently, like walking your heels on and off the floor. Inhale halfway up. And then exhale, hands behind your head, become rounded again with elbows to your knee or higher. Slowly stand up by being rounded. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And hold your head down, chin to your chest for a while more. I really like this because it stretches out my tight upper back muscles. You can even roll gently from side to side. And then let's move the opposite direction by pushing your chin up toward the sky. After all this improvisation, let's go back to the flow. Inhale, arms over your head. And exhale, bring your hands down alongside your body. Start again in front of your mat. Inhale, arms over your head. And exhale, forward bend. Halfway up as you inhale. Exhale, forward bend. A few more rounds if you want to. And step your left foot back a long step so that your left heel will be touching the wall. Bring your back knee down to the floor and try to make your feet very far away so that you get the most stretch out of your hips. Walk the blocks behind you, bending your elbows and pointing your elbows toward each other. Hips low, chest up high. You can just stop here, or you can bring your left arm over your head. And even harder, your right arm will follow too. And maybe you can touch both of your hands toward the wall. Look slightly up and have great control of what's going on here. Squeeze your belly button toward your spine to secure your lower back. Make sure all the stretch are happening in your shoulders and your hips. To get out, left arm out first and then right arm. And slowly move to pyramid pose. You can move between halfway up and forward bending pyramid for a few rounds to lengthen the spine after the deep back bend. And then let's move the right block away as you lower your left block so that your left elbow can be supported with your left block. Hold your left hand into your right leg and try to twist all your chest toward the right side. You can try lower the block, but seems like it doesn't work for me on this side. So I will just use the medium side or the long side of the block. And then bring your hands down to the floor. Hold blocks again as you kick your right leg up and put it up toward the wall. Notice that all 5 toes should be pressing into the wall and standing split with the wall. It's really deep stretch for your left hamstring. Stay a few breaths here, and if you think you can go deeper into the pose, you can jump your foot closer toward the wall and bring the blocks closer too. I really enjoy this pose because it gives my hips new stretch that I cannot do on the floor. Slowly get away from the wall, but keep the right toes on the wall and bring your right knee down to the floor so that your right foot can still be on the wall. You can come a bit closer for this Anjani Asana variation. Keep your hips really low, and option 1, you can hold your hands on the blocks. That's enough. It's a very deep stretch here for the quad and the hip flexors. Or you can bring your left hand in front of your heart, over your head and toward the wall. Or you can bring both hands. Maybe you can push your hands into the wall so that you can push your chest even more forward. It's a very big stretch and feel kind of uncomfortable, but try to stay here for a few breaths and get over the challenge. Try to feel relaxed into your face and to get out each hand at a time. You're going to get the whole back leg away from the wall. Hold your hands on the blocks. Walk your heels on and off the floor. And exhale, forward bend. Again, you can support your elbows on the blocks. Let go of your head. And hang yourself here in Uttanasana, the forward bend pose. After all, Let's turn your head toward the wall and do Uttanasana with the wall. Bend your knees so that you can put the back side of your head into the wall and your shoulders too. Bend your elbows. You can keep your arms heavy on the ground. Just stay here and allow the shape of the wall to help you forward bend even deeper. If you want more, you can walk your feet toward the wall and slide your head lower down toward the floor. Try to stick more and more of your vertebrae toward the wall. I love this pose because it's stretching all the way from my lower back, glute, hamstring and calf. Everything at the back side of my body is being stretched here. And it's a stretch that I cannot get without the wall. To get out of the pose, you can slowly walk away from the wall and sit down. After you sit, let's lay down to the floor with your hips pretty close to the wall so that you can have your feet on the wall. Let's bring your left ankle on top of your right knee. And if you don't feel a stretch in the glute, you can come even closer. But make sure that your glute, your hips, is falling down toward the floor, sinking down toward the mat. It's a nice gentle stretch here. The stretch is like in pigeon pose, but now your knees are free. There's no pressure on them. And then change leg. If your knee comes too close to your chest, you can use your right hand to bring your right knee away from you. Or it just doesn't matter because there's no pressure on your knee right now. Just enjoy the stretch on your hips. And the last pose we do today will be legs up the wall. So you can become very close with your hips sticking into the wall and bring your legs up straight. Option 2, keep your legs in the Bandha Konasana position, feet together, knees apart. And option 3, you can open your legs wide like a straddle split, if you have enough wall space for you. That pose is really nice too. I would do it, but I don't have space. So I'm pretty fine with just legs up the wall. This is inversion when your legs are higher than your head. But it's a very relaxing, restorative form of inversion that helps you bring your blood out of your legs and back to your heart. Without all the challenge or the trouble of a real inversion. Just stay here and feel how your blood starts going down from your legs and back to your heart. Maybe you're going to feel tingling into your legs. But that is good because then when you get out of the pose, you will have new stream of fresh, healthy blood going into all the corners, all the tiniest blood vessels of your legs to rejuvenate, to refresh all the tissue, all the cells on your legs. You can stay into this pose for however long you want, but I'm going to slowly get out of the pose to finish the class for today. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the class next week. Don't forget to subscribe or follow me. Namaste.